So welcome to another video. It's been a long time, but finally I can bring you my thoughts on the CMF Buds 2 Pro from nothing. Are these earbuds any good, or are they missing the mark? Well, let's find out in my full review. So after previously trying many earbuds from the Nothing brand and not being blown away, I wasn't expecting much from these CMF Buds 2 Pro made by Nothing. However, I'm blown away. For some earbuds that cost £50, they offer so much more above their weight. Might not be the most premium feeling or the most premium looking earbuds, but my God, are they functional, and my God, do they sound good. However, let's dive into a bit more. So the design itself of the case, nice soft touch material, really sort of premium, no creaks or rattles from the case, a little bit bulky in my opinion. I don't really like this designer case. It's not too bad, but it's quite bulky. It's got this nice dial here as well that feels quite expensive for the price point. It also is really functional, so you can push this dial down here to play, pause. You can also adjust what the actual button does in the app, and you can also rotate this sort of dial here to increase the volume or decrease the volume, whatever you want. So again, it adds something slightly different that you don't see many earbuds doing, and it's quite a nice feature to have. If it's in your pocket, it's actually got enough resistance not to actually roll the dial to change the volume. However, you can reach in your pocket and just twist the dial to increase or decrease the volume. So I think it's a really useful feature, but also just as importantly, really well done and really well judged. The earbuds themselves, I'll give you a closer look. However, you can see here, nothing extraordinary here. Standard design, what we know and love from many different brands. They actually do remind me of the fit of the Huawei FreeBuds 4 Pro compared to others like Xiaomi, which I don't find quite as comfortable. However, nothing special here. They look okay, they feel okay, don't feel super premium, don't look super premium, but that's absolutely fine because at this price point you can't expect too much. What matters is how they sound. So the noise cancellation on these earbuds, I've heard so many people complain about the quality of the noise cancellation, saying that it's not very effective and it doesn't eliminate the background noise. However, in my testing, I found the noise cancellation to be fantastic. Regardless of vocal tones or background noise, it really does help eliminate that sort of, if you're on an aeroplane, the engine noise, for example, if you're on a train, the train rails, it really does eliminate that noise, and it does it as well as any of the bigger brands, if not better. I was expecting to be disappointed in this area with these earbuds, however I wasn't. I think it's really effective and it doesn't compromise the quality of your music, and it doesn't fill your ears with pressure, which can be issues with some of these earbuds. You do also have transparency mode that basically projects any external noise in, like voices, and yeah, this works absolutely fine too. The adaptive noise cancellation is really smooth. You don't sort of hear any changes or any frequency changes that does often happen when you are changing these modes between devices, as well as devices compatible with each other's brands. So for example, if you're using a Huawei phone with Huawei earbuds, the noise cancellation does seem slightly better. However, if you then use them Huawei earbuds with a different brand of smartphone, it actually does compromise the quality of the noise cancellation as well as the sound quality. However, I've had no issues with these earbuds in any other devices. Around 5 hours with noise cancellation on in my testing seems to be what I'm getting from these earbuds. So overall, really satisfied with the battery life on these. And of course, last but not least, how do these earbuds sound? Because this is the reason why you're buying earbuds. So overall, the sound really did surprise me. I noticed it straight away, and the first thing I noticed when listening to these, regardless of how they're equalised on the app, is that they definitely seem like a bass heavy earbud, but not in a bad way. It doesn't overpower all the other instrumentals. The mids and the highs still come through nice and clear, and you can tweak the bass settings very simply in the app as well, which does actually make a considerable difference to how these earbuds sound. If I'm being super picky and if I'm comparing these to extremely premium rivals, the only thing I would say is
Although you still hear the highs and the mid-range clearly in some really complex tracks, sometimes it can be just slightly muffled, not quite as crisp as some premium rivals. So let's have a dive into the Nothing app, available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So the app is very simple to use. When you load it up, you'll get all your devices here. You can see I had both colours of these earbuds, so you can see I can seamlessly tap between them at the top. You can also add a new device at the top by clicking the plus button here, and it will search for new devices. And I must say this works extremely well. I believe it does have support for sort of Android connectivity, so when you first load up the buds, it actually finds it really straightforwardly. So you can see that now I'm connected. All your settings are really straightforward. The noise cancellation settings here, you can see mine's on adaptive, but you can change it to high, mid or low. You can see also you can turn it off. You can also have spatial audio, which I'll be honest, it's not the most effective on these. It's not super strong, it's not super engaging like other brands. However, that also is a positive. If you're not a super fan of that specific sound and you want to dial it back a little bit, but still having some of that sort of 3D projected audio to your ears, then it is actually quite a nice balance, but it's not the strongest part of these earbuds. You can see that here you can change the bass level. I set it to 4 because I think that's the perfect blend. Any more and you do find that the bass can be too strong. Just helps bring those tracks to life. And you can see so you can do the equalizer settings, you can do your own. I don't like the style of this, I much prefer the standard style where you can just drag the bars up. The favourite sound setting for me is either rock or pop, not the Drake tuned. I don't really like that very much. The controls as well, you've got loads of controls on the earbuds, so these are fully customizable in the app and you can choose what these do. And you've got different codecs that it supports as well. Me using the Xiaomi, I use the AAC codec, but LDAC is also available. You can also connect them to dual devices. You've also got Find My Earbuds, Forget Them, which means you're going to delete them from the account and delete them from your phone. And you've also got an ear tip fit test because it does come with 2 other sizes in the box. And that's pretty much it with the Nothing app. Really straightforward, really simple, but it has all the features you need. So that's it. That's my full review of the CMF Buds 2 Pro. Of course, there has been no editorial access or copyright approval. You are seeing this alongside them for the very first time. I hope you liked the video. Please like, comment and subscribe. See you on the next one.